Hello, all, and welcome to a long-awaited update to White Cane's Wide Open Roads. I am sorry I haven't posted an update in so long. Life happens. I do have lots of updates. And before I get into it, make sure to like and subscribe to the video, of course. Makes the algorithm gods happy and whatnot. Right now I'm sitting in our car, and our new spot. We're now got a nice underground spot, so I'm not freezing to death or anything like that while recording this, which is awesome because it is not outside, which is really cold. It's like minus 10 or lower out there right now, and not comfortable at the slightest to record videos. Summer I was dealing with getting cooked alive, and now I'm frozen like a popsicle. That's weather in Canada for you. So before I keep rambling, quick updates. I'll start with the quick stuff and what feels now like less substantial stuff, and then move on to the big stuff. A lot has happened since my last update. So the first things is I did complete the other 2 training sessions with my eye doctor. So we have done all our training sessions and all that's great. So he was happy with all that. Didn't end up having time to do a video with him, hopefully in the future, maybe further along the journey. Those were fairly similar to the previous 2. I should be appearing on some of his social media at a point, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. And I will, of course, link it. The other one that was big afterwards, so we did all that, and then the waiting being the hardest part, we waited for the government, and actually that weren't too bad. They initially came back and said, you need to wait longer. So we waited patiently. We did our final training, and then we resubmitted the paperwork, and they actually fairly quickly came back and said, yes, you're good to go to second stage. So that was about November 18th that we got the green light from the government. And we proceeded to, I proceeded to go to the next step. So it's been a lot of movement since November 18th. In the letter they gave me on that date, I had till January 18th to complete the next 2 pieces. So they have been completed and are submitted to the government. Thank goodness. 2 months, real tight timeline. My friend that's also going through this is on an equally tight timeline. He hasn't gotten as far. He's going through his own version of the journey. So so what I had to do next is I had 2 pieces that I had to do. I had to take the letter that I was given and go write the G1 test. That was an interesting day. 2 hours waiting with a kid. She didn't appreciate that. But 2 hours waiting with a kid at the drive test center. I handed them the letter and they skipped the vision test. They sent me off to go do it. I surrendered my Ontario photo ID card, and I now technically, I'm not going to show it to the camera for obvious reasons. I technically have a G1 driver's license with the XVE restriction on it. I just did air letters in the wrong direction. That's great. So it's XVE, meaning that I have to have glasses, I have to have the visual aid, and it's for rehab use only, which is fair. Totally fair. So technically, I have a driver's license. What a weird sentence. Still feels weird. But no, so I have a driver's license now. It's even lighter than a learner's, though, because it's that rehab use only is a very strict note. The next goal was, part of that same goal was to contact Skill Builders Ontario. Once I contacted Skill Builders Ontario, they set up a date for me. It was December 4th, but due to weather, it got moved to December 5th. My mom took me up, much appreciated. She also watched my daughter so that I could go through the assessment. So it was an assessment. Lovely folks there. Nothing but nice things to say about them. They're all super friendly. Beautiful city, actually, out there. Really had a lot of fun out there. So I'm, looking forward to going back out. The assessment contained some visual tests, a couple computer tests. that were really not too bad. The funny thing is the computer they were using for testing, it made me chuckle with some nostalgia. It was a Windows XP Pro machine on a Dell Optiplex, with a CRT monitor, and that was some nerd nostalgia there. It's a touchscreen CRT too. That's a rare creature. So did all that, did the visual, did the computer. We then did some walking around the hallway, including some tests where I would be asked, like, there were some benches and I'd be asked about them, or I'd be asked to, like, pretend they're cars and stop car length behind them and stuff like that to help assess my understanding of depth and that kind of thing a little bit. We then went out on the road and I was an active passenger. I did advise I've had about 30 hours of experience with my Bioptic, which is true. I've done quite a few trips with the wife, including to Ottawa and back, which is like 10 hours right there. So lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of hours with the Bioptic. And she'd like me to get even more, which, hey, fair enough. I use it every opportunity I get, so that's not an issue at all. But we did the active passenger, and she was happy with how I did on it, the assessor. And she then had me go into the driver's seat. It was I think a 2425 Accord, Honda Accord, which, considering I'm sitting in a Honda CRV, it's not like I'm familiar with Hondas. Although this is a much newer one than ours. Ours is a 21. But, so I got to sit in the driver's seat. She first had me sit there and play with the pedals, go between gas and brake and gas and brake and gas and brake and really get used to it. She then had me, try turning the wheel left, try turning the wheel right. And she reminded me, she's like, do you notice how you knew how to do that automatically? And I was like, yeah. You trust your brain. It's like a bicycle. You knew what to do. Look where you want to go, know what you want to do. And this was, so in Barrie, there was about 20-ish centimeters of snow the prior day. So they were buried, like absolutely, but they had cleaned it up, but the snowbanks were taller than me and I'm 6'1". So that's saying something. So that bear that in mind during this story. And I know I'm rambling a little, but after that, she told me to put it in drive, try and go in a straight line, and after 10 feet, try and bring the car to a stop without sending her through the windshield accidentally, like without giving her whiplash, don't brake too hard. So it's worked on that a few times. Then we came to the end and she had me pull a Yui. So that was my first time turning the actual car while it was driving, and come back, go around. And then we did a few loops, and she had me even at a point get somewhat close to a car, try and stay on my side, which originally I wasn't doing because I was still figuring things out. Her notes from my assessment even indicate that I was getting better as time went on, which is great. And she did note that I was an extremely novice driver, which absolutely 110% I am a novice driver. I am not going to sugarcoat it. She I explained I have had no experience with e-bikes, anything like that. I have no experience with like 4x4s or ATVs or any of that fun stuff. Not even gone go-karting. I've never done the drive in the parking lot, with questionable legality. Never even done any of that. So this was literally my first time in charge of a moving car. Now, this car had the instructor gas, instructor brake, instructor mirror. Like, it was absolutely like fully safed, which is awesome. So did a few loops, and then she had me switch back to the passenger seat, brought me back. She did tell me I was considered a good candidate, and they absolutely are wanting me to move forward. So I get to do 10 lessons. After those 10 lessons, we will do another assessment and see where we're at. And if everything's looking good, the V falls off my license and I can go to normal driver's ed. And that's it. Then I'm no different than your average person getting a license. So exciting news. Lots of news. Sorry for the late reply. I'll try to make it less. In the new year, I will be doing the lessons. So I will hopefully be talking more about those in the new year. I will do my best. But yeah, some very exciting updates, definite progress forward. And definitely, look forward. So again, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day, and here's to some wide open roads.